Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are doing what if Ralph Nader won Alaska in the 2000 election. Sorry about that weird awkward silence, I felt a sneeze coming on. So this was requested to me to do, I don't remember by who, or I of course give him credit. But in order for Ralph Nader to win the state of Alaska, he only won 10% of the vote. He would have to win, he would have to have a vote swing of 20 to 25% in order for him to win, and that's not just from Gore. He'd have to even get some Bush voters in the state to vote for him as well. And I'm not going to calculate how that would affect other states. Bush probably would have won by 350 electoral votes if I were to calculate that. So I'm not. So instead, we're just gonna keep going. So, of course, this would result in a contingent election since the whole Bush v. Gore thing, it wouldn't have been as important considering the result, no matter what, would have ended up being a contingent election. No matter what. However, Democrats would be... Actually, I'll say that here in a minute. So, however, we would still get the whole Bush v. Gore Supreme Court case, and Bush would still win the 28 electoral votes. And then in going on to the 2001 contingent election, we go to the House, and thus George Bush is selected as the 43rd president by the House of Representatives. 28 state delegates vote for Bush, 21 state delegates vote for Gore, and one state delegate actually votes for Ralph Nader, and that is Bernie Sanders up in Vermont. He would definitely vote for Ralph Nader over Al Gore, in my humble opinion. I think Sanders would know that Gore isn't going to win a contingent election against Bush in the House, so he would just not waste his vote on someone he wouldn't vote for himself. Going on to the 2004 election, we'd still see Bush versus Kerry. However, Ralph Nader would run again, and he would take a bigger chunk of the support away from John Kerry. He'd win around 4 to 5% of the vote, causing George W. Bush to win in a giant landslide over John Kerry, since John Kerry would seclude the Nader vote. It wouldn't be known as the Bernie vote, it'd be known as the Nader vote in this time around, and thus Bush would win in a giant landslide. The first since the Reagan the first since Bill Clinton in 1996, because I do consider that a landslide. Going on to 2008, we would see a matchup between Obama and John McCain, and Obama would know that he would need to pick Ralph Nader as his running mate in order to, win this election, because if he doesn't pick Ralph Nader, all of that far-left vote is going to cost him this election, even though the Great Recession is there, and odds are, in hindsight, Obama should win because Great Recession. And thus, he chooses Ralph Nader as his running mate, which is a shock to much of the establishment, how they did not want Ralph Nader. However, the far left loves Obama for this. Obama was always very friendly to the far left, to the progressives, I guess you could say, nominating people like Tulsi Gabbard and Julian Castro into positions like the DNC vice chair and Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. He was always a bit friendly to them, in my opinion, which isn't a bad thing. It's good for someone to do that for their party. Same thing with someone doing it for the far right in the Republican Party. It's good or vice versa. This far left reaching out to the center, far right's reaching out to the center. It's a good thing. It's a good thing in my opinion. And also, due to this, Democrats will do 1 to 2% better in every single election due to the Green Party not being around, since the Green Party pretty much got its huge boost of support post-Nader because of Ralph Nader in the 2000 election. And all that Ralph Nader support would go to the Green Party. And now, since the Green Party is now not a thing anymore, it would dissolve into the Democrat Party, and thus they do 1 to 2% better. Thus, Barack Obama would win the state of Missouri this time around, and he would win this election. And he would do the same thing he did in real life when it comes to his administration. We now go on to the 2012 election, where we have Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney, essentially the exact same election. I could definitely see both McCain and Romney, just any Republican ever, throwing out the socialist card at Obama or just any Democrat in general now. because they're now starting to become more accepting of the far left movement about 8 years earlier than they do IRL. Technically 10 years if you want to get technical about it, since I don't think they really started accepting them until 2018 because of that huge wave they got in like certain House districts, New York mostly. So, in the 2012 map really wouldn't change that much. There were no states that were like less than 2% that Obama could have won, with the exception of North Carolina. But again, I don't think there'll be that much of a swing for Obama to win North Carolina this time around, so pretty much the exact same map. We now go on to the 2016 election, where we have Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton, of course, would have to do the same thing Obama did and pick someone that the progressives. Do we call them progressives now? Because they were only called progressives because of Bernie. Or, that's to my knowledge anyways. The Naderites, can we call them that? Nadercrats? But she'll choose someone that the far left will like, or just, is happy with, and that will be Julian Castro, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. She chooses Castro, which helps her with the Latino vote, which makes states like Arizona and Texas a lot closer in this election. Trump only wins Arizona by 1.6% and wins Texas by 8.2%, roughly. And thus she will win the Rust Belt in this time, as well as the state of Florida. She'll win those 4 states, which gives her the victory, so she'll become the 45th President of the United States, and she'll be the 45th President and the first female President. Now, some things could happen with this. Donald Trump could go on his Stop the Steal routine, which I doubt will be as successful. I think if he does, he'll just lose a lot of his support from the Obama Democrats, since they haven't had time to grow attached to him yet. And there you go. That's pretty much it. So I don't think he does do this, though. I do think the whole revenge tour that he's doing right now would happen 4 years earlier. Pretty much we'll see the Republican Party becomes less of an establishment swamp, since Donald Trump is going to be cleaning it out as the years go by during his revenge tour. And I think he'll still be as influential as long as he doesn't do his Stop the Steal rally after the 2016 election and losing. Only if. Going on to 2020, Donald Trump once again runs, and as you can see here, he wins this election. And thus, Hillary Clinton would probably govern like Joe Biden and seclude the far left, even though Hillary promised to have progressives in her administration like Obama did. It's clear that she never had any intention to, and Julian Castro is the farthest she'll go when it comes to progressives. And so Donald Trump will beat Hillary Clinton. It's not for the lack of progressives turning out for Hillary. It's more so the fact, or turning out to vote for Trump instead of Hillary. It's more so the fact of COVID-19 and that being slapped to Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is essentially seen as the favorite to win the Electoral College, however not the popular vote, as he does lose the popular vote by around 3 million votes, 3 to 4 million votes against Hillary Clinton. However, he still wins the election, defeating Hillary. Donald Trump wins around 72 million votes to Hillary Clinton's 75 million. Just roughly even, pretty much. And as you can see, it's a lower turnout than what we got in the IRL election, but it's still a very high turnout election either way. And Donald Trump would choose Nikki Haley as his running mate. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe more so someone like Joni Ernst. I doubt he'd choose Haley. I think in 2018 he tried to find a primary challenge against her. Be unsuccessful, of course, because South Carolina doesn't have all that great Republicans. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching so much. Go follow my Twitter, @ChaoticPolitics. This is the Chaotic One saying, peace.